What if you could travel to parallel worlds? The same year, the same Earth, only different dimensions. A world where the Russians rule America. Or where your dreams of being superstar came true. Or where San Francisco was a maximum security prison. My friends and I found the gateway. Now the problem is finding a way back home.
And welcome to episode 2 of Circling the Vortex here at experiencekills.co.uk. Much like in Sliders, what's happened here is that we are actually coming to you with Circling the Vortex from another dimension. This is a dimension in which the Beatles were so popular in America that they actually changed the electoral law so that they could vote in Ringo Starr as the president, and then they removed the term limits of Ringo Starr, so he's now become the King of America. And in that universe, here we are bringing you Circling the Vortex, which is a Sliders podcast. Now, if you're not aware, Sliders is a show about interdimensional travel from the 90s. It's kind of amazing, but it's also pretty awful at times. So that's kind of all I'm going to give you, because here I am with my two co-hosts who are here with me on Experience Kills to talk about Sliders. We have ostensively, you could describe him as sort of like the Sliders virgin, the guy who's coming in fresh and new to this show, Nathan.
Hello.
How are you doing today, Nate?
I'm good, very good.
You're looking forward to talking about the first proper episode after the pilot?
Yes, get a proper episode with a proper intro, a proper episode name.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? It's exciting. And with me is another long-term Slider. It's Curtis.
Love it. Hello.
Tom. How are you doing, man? And I'm your host, as always, Ben, bringing this ragtag group of sliding compatriots together to talk about episode 3, technically, after the double episode pilot feature. Episode 3 entitled Fever, I believe. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Fever.
Which gives you a little hint as to what we might be dealing with here in this episode. But I think, do we need to describe what Sliders is more than that? I mean, it's a group of dudes and a chick traveling between dimensions, dealing with episodic adventures.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Pretty much, yeah.
You can't go on anything else like that.
Would you recommend that people watch along with us?
I would.
Yeah, it's fun to do because
I say it adds an extra level.
It's nice to see a product from another time.
It makes it sound like it's come out of the 1800s.
I know. There is stuff that happens in it that I don't think you probably get away with today. Future episodes.
Yeah, well, he's alluding.
Quite tame. And,
yeah.
So should we just get into
aspect.
Describing the episode and how it started and going through what happened? You guys have copious notes. I'm just chilling I'm just here to host it, really.
I'm ready.
You're the guys
I'm
bringing
ready.
the knowledge. So go jump in. Where do you want to start?
Well, at the start, we got a sort of prologue world that they do occasionally when they'll be on a world. I think they're only on there for like 20 minutes or something on that.
No,
world.
it was like 2 minutes.
Or 2 minutes.
Yeah,
or
it was something ridiculous. Yeah,
Probably even less of that was screen time.
So I've dubbed it Money World.
Yeah. Oil boom. Oil boom.
Oil boom.
I think
Where is it? San
Rembrandt calls
Francisco?
it Wealthland. His
Wealthland.
colloquially refers to it as.
Brilliant, catchy Rembrandt.
So they're walking through a crowd of people, money getting thrown everywhere. Just was it Toro was getting.
Old Tor, who's this character?
No, who was
Got approached.
That was it. Yeah, he got approached, didn't he?
Kissed by a lady in pink.
Oh, yeah. What was his name again? I always forget.
Professor. You got me doing it now. Maximilian Arturo.
Arturo.
Jesus Christ.
Arturo.
My brain completely farting on me there. Yeah.
Mine as well. They're going through, and then they find out Quinn is a millionaire because there was
oil in his backyard.
There's some brilliantly bad special effects of like geezers shooting out of like oil rigs. Like they just
so
lifted
bad.
it from the most sort of contrived episode of Dallas or something like that ever and just stuck them on top of houses. It's just like, what? That's not how they would do any of that. How would that work? What's the logistics of putting an oil rig through someone's house?
I know.
It's so strange.
Well, I like how it was introduced with that. I guess doesn't really get it anymore, except for sort of the cliche of just a newspaper front page.
The spinny.
San Fran oil boom, just front page, like they're not even bothering with a introduction, just a newspaper.
And then
You're gonna get used to this formula. This is something. So the prequel and the epilogue world is something that comes up. They don't do it for every episode, but it's used fairly consistently. Yeah, as a framing device, it's actually kind of cool because it gets you. It means that the viewer gets this experience a few more worlds than just one per episode, which is quite fun.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping for more newspaper introduction.
and then just before they leave, just to make sure that you understand what this world was, they had the "Greed is sexy" spray painted on the wall.
with a dollar sign.
Yeah, the
Spray paint is a lazy ass way of conveying shit, and they do it a lot. Like there's stuff on walls which they use as exposition consistently through this episode. if you remember some of them, yeah, it's constantly
actually.
like posters and spray paint over posters to convey a sense of the world they're in on their obviously limited budget.
you see some in the next
did
one,
you
yeah.
did you notice less money than the pilot? By the way, like the whole thing felt like
Yeah.
they had a lot less money.
Much slower as well. There wasn't as many action scenes. There was a few, but not as many.
Not as many men with guns, as we'll get onto it, than the pilot, which was resplendent.
Sadly, they have to slide out because of the arbitrary broken timer means sometimes you get stuck for somewhere for weeks and sometimes you'll be leaving in minutes, and they have to slide out of Wealth World, which is really what they should have called it, isn't it? Wealth World?
Wealth World, yeah.
Yeah, that will go, yeah. Oil Land? I don't know. Anyway, so they're to leave. So where do they end up?
What I've called the CDC world.
CDC World, yeah. So it's the Californian Health something, isn't it? Health Council?
Yeah.
CHC, isn't it?
CHC, that's it, yeah.
Because probably CDC, I'm guessing, is trademarked by the CDC,
Yeah,
so you
probably.
can't use it without permission.
But they've changed the D to an H. It's fair game now.
Yeah, exactly. And immediately things aren't looking great on this planet, like on this particular
Wade.
universe.
They jump through and Wade almost gets run over by a truck.
But she gets saved by a man with a yellow face.
The only way I can describe him is he looks a bit like the Shadow and Dark Man with the kind of like
Yeah,
the bandages
yeah, he does.
around him and
Yeah.
stuff.
But the Simpson version.
Yeah. To be honest, everyone does look like the Simpsons in this episode, like red-eyed Simpson.
It's so they go to like their favorite restaurant, don't they? Oh, there's a phase on every universe. Oh, great, let's go there to the diner. And Arturo's like, I'm gonna get a beef Wellington with asparagus because I'm a posh English
There's a
person.
vichyssoise as well.
Yeah, which is well, I'm cultured and yet a dick, and that's the characterization we get from
Traditional
that.
food in every American diner.
Yes, absolutely. Beef Wellington, yeah, always get those a lot in American diners. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. What? Fuck. So they go there, but it's not what they hoped, is it?
Go through the
Ah.
door.
So they go through these metal detectors.
But they're not.
They're
We
not-
don't know what
yeah,
they
what
are.
they are.
Don't do
What do they do?
Yeah,
They world build. That's all they're there
yeah,
for.
but they're right. So they're clearly meant to be scanning the body for.
Yeah, I thought maybe disinfecting,
Yeah.
but they don't. That's the thing, because we find out Wade's a bit ill, and it doesn't alert them. It's like, oh, you're sick, and it doesn't do anything to sort of prevent.
But yeah, so they go through these detectors. Well, the only way I can describe them is just that noise they make, that like ring, ring.
The only thing it does is just well, it tells us that it's a different world. That's it.
Yeah,
It's only there for us. It seems to serve no purpose in their
at all.
verse.
No, it's just like you said, it's just to give you a sense of otherness, that there's
this
something
is-
else is wrong.
Something
Different,
wrong.
something's going on.
There's a
So yeah,
everywhere.
so we then discover that like this diner is like hygiene obsessed, and the food for some reason is disgusting, like all sort of like vacuum sealed crap, and it's just the worst. And there's a guy
Airplane
coughing in the
food.
corner, isn't there? So it's like, ooh, somebody's sick. And then quickly we get to see the wanted poster, which I think is hilarious.
So yeah, that's the pre-credit sort of stinger, which just before that intro
Oh
starts.
god, yeah, I guess this was all before this is still all before the intro.
Yeah,
isn't it?
all before the
okay.
intro.
They do a lot to
See,
establish the story.
Patient
Yeah.
Zero wanted $1 million, I think. Or...
I think it was, but it was written out like one with all the zeros as well to make sure you understood just how much money he was worth. By the way, in the 90s, were they still sticking wanted posters on the wall like they're in the Old West? Is that something that still happened in America?
In bathrooms as well.
It was, and there wasn't just one. There was like 20 on that bathroom.
In the bathroom.
Yeah, in the bath.
Yeah, not in the restaurant anywhere. You had to go to the bathroom specifically to see the wanted poster.
I think it must. I'm assuming it's a very liberal universe because they all follow him into the bathroom to check out the wanted posters, and no one says anything about this. Just group of four.
Well, a woman especially goes in with the dudes into the dudes' toilet because there was urinals in there, and it's like, well, that's weird, isn't it?
No, that's commonplace. That's what this universe has going for it. They're very open-minded.
Oh, clearly the whole
When it comes to
segregation due to
toilets,
the poor.
they're very
to the rich.
open-minded.
Yeah, very laid back. So we set up that Quinn is wanted for being the spreader of a plague, and then we have your first experience, Nathan, with the opening intro. What did that do for you? Did it excite you? Did it get you hooked for the
It just gave
episode?
me 90s flashbacks. That's all I can say.
Yeah, with like the spinning planets, spinning
commentary.
globes, yeah, the commentary. You kind of get that where they'll turn to the camera, that kind of like old school sort of like 90s. Turn to the camera with your name, give us a little smile or a little grin, or look up from
You
something.
get the little sting of them, like, oh, is this in a future episode, or was this just filmed for an intro? We'll
Yeah.
never
I think
see
all
it.
the intro stuff is from the pilot, if I remember what's cut in there. Most of it.
Yeah, a lot of it
So
does
I
look
didn't recognise,
pilot.
but that might just be me.
Well, we can look more closely at the next episode and take more intro notes. But when we come back, they're in the toilet all together, aren't they? And then let's leave because this isn't good. And that's when the men with guns show up for the first time. No, did they have guns?
They
Yeah, we got,
did.
There's one shotgun, a few.
Yeah.
Looks at MP5K, and
Yeah.
of course.
But that's later on. That I don't remember if the guns were in the diner scene.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
Did they trank him in the diner?
No, they didn't trank him in the diner. They trank him in the pharmacy.
I'm
You're
getting
getting
ahead of myself.
confused. You're getting
I'm getting ahead of
You're
myself.
jumping along the timeline
I'm
here.
sliding around.
So yeah, the first call starts, wasn't it, where the waitress calls out.
And they think they're pointing at
Yeah,
Quinn,
they think they're pointing at Quinn,
but they're not because she does that 20 seconds later when they leave.
They go,
So-
they go for the coughing diner.
Coughing
and
diner.
Then go for him.
We find out that they care more about capturing coughing diners people than the muffins that were on display. Because the muffins all got knocked on the floor when they handcuffed that man, and I was very
That was
sad.
fine because
the
the muffins as well were vacuum packed.
but the muffins did look more edible than the hamburgers they were given earlier, which looked.
You don't start with the.
They
muffins.
looked like a rustler that hadn't even been cooked.
I didn't even see any meat in that burger.
There was some. There was a little sliver of patty in between the bread. Nothing else. Bread.
We know they're
Fish.
bad because when Rembrandt ate them, and clearly Rembrandt's standards are pretty low, he had to spit them out almost immediately.
Ran to the toilet.
Yes, and saw the poster.
Spat out the beef.
I know that was such like he hadn't even chewed it. Would they reacted that poorly if he just gone, oh sorry guys, put it on the desk like on the counter? Would that have been that? I mean,
he's just polite like that.
he's very polite. He's got a lot of faults, Rembrandt. He is literally the stupidest man on the planet, on any planet it turns out. However, he's very polite.
He's got manners.
So he's got his
can't fault him
manners
for that.
maketh the man, they say, don't they? So then we are on the run outside now, and Wade's getting real ill, and they need to hole up in a Motel 6, a real. Yeah, we had that weird scene with the dude, don't we? We were trying to check in. He's a bit peculiar.
He's,
They don't get a lot of
they come in,
visitors.
just
The
aerosol cans in the face.
We got the vroom, vroom.
Oh, vroom.
I'm going to say this should be this episode's Gatewatch. Those metal.
Yeah, because
detectors,
Gatewatch
There
is
was
0 on this
Yeah.
episode. We did not get a gate from Gatewatch, so the metal detectors came up about 4 or 5 times. So when they're checking into the motel, Quinn and Arturo have gone to the pharmacy to get some aspirin, very important for Wade. However, it's like a medieval apothecary, and there's nothing of medicine that we would
There
recognise.
was plants on the shelves.
Worm root and hog swallow and things like I don't know. I'm making this shit up. I don't know. But lots of things in jars that look like it's out of like the 17th century.
Skyrim, whatever. It
Yeah, it probably is. But yeah, and then we have that weird scene with the well, there's 2 really weird dudes work in this pharmacy, like really weird guy.
Very.
You've got the dude who just ignores Arturo on the phone and is like really strange, and then we have. I'm not sure he is the dude from Lone Gunman, but he looks like.
I'm sure it's the guy.
You
from
are
Lone
sure
Gunman.
from the
Yeah,
X-Files?
the blonde one.
I mean, yeah, I can see the similarities. And he's just like, Quinn, man, it's you. Oh, man, patient 0. Dude. And he's like losing his shit, and then he calls the police on him.
He says like, "Oh, you're a hero, man.
Yeah.
I've called the police.
Well, he wants him to
Don't let them take you alive.
but he wants to die to make himself a martyr for some reason. Okay.
Yeah, let him blow you away, dude. That kind of thing, and then
Grabbing him by the lapels. With those-
So in this scene, we've discovered that medicine is not really at the same level as it is on the regular world, on our world, in this particular universe. And that that Quinn is seriously wanted by people and is kind of like a bit of a Jesus figure to some. So we got some establishment here, going
It's the
on.
mullet.
it's definitely got to be the kind of.
Hell of a mullet going on there. Oh my god.
It's a Wayne's World
Level
mullet. It's great.
It's mullet going on that guy. But yeah, so he gets caught. Quinn gets caught, and the best bit, Arturo goes to the motel. And Rembrandt's like, wait, what happened to Quinn? He's like, I couldn't stop him, got ambushed. And it's like, dude didn't even try. He just stood in the corner when the dude with guns run past him, and he's just like, nah, I'm out. No, it's not for me. I don't do kung fu.
I'm
Sorry,
going
mate,
home.
I'm out. It was so. I'm going back to my motel. I'm not feeling that well either. It turns out because Arturo's also got this thing which is called the Q. I'm assuming
I don't
named
think he coughs
after.
or sweats once, but he's ill.
But
tells
the
us
Q
he's
for
ill.
Quinn, we think.
Yeah,
Is that why it's
gotta
called
be.
that? It's got to be, isn't it? And yeah, he's ill, and now it's not looking good. Wade is now in the motel. She is tripping balls on this super horrible virus thing. It's just
Hallucinating ugly faces, hands on the bed.
Yeah, it's
doors
it's-
opening.
Yeah, it's very weird. She's laying.
That's scary.
She's laying in the bed, very Exorcist. It reminds me very reminiscent of the Exorcist.
Yes, she's
laying
got
in
that.
the bed.
She's really working her ass off at the sick role here.
She doesn't get much to act in this
No.
episode, so she is,
She's
going for-
110% plague. Is what I think the director might have said. Want more intensity from your plague performance here, Wade. Give it to us. Everything you've got. Everything you've got. Thrash in that bed.
It does seem like a lot of the money for this episode was put into the special effects and makeup because they all had that kind of like melted
Yeah,
face effect.
they did some okay practical effects. I think, to be honest,
lot
the
of
yellow
red
skin and the
contact
red
lenses.
contact lenses
Yeah,
were actually
yeah.
pretty creepy looking. They do a good job of making people look sick. So Wade, Quinn is being like examined now. He's been captured by the medical people.
Seeing sort of
Weird blue pain light.
sprayed
Sucks.
with water, electrodes all over his chest.
Yeah, he's having a bad time, but Wade's having an equally bad time because she then runs off, and they have to chase her down, and that's when we meet the Resistance again. It's like, does every world have a organized resistance led by at least one of the characters from the show, the core of the show? I mean, it seems to be that's the theme we've got so far between the pilot and this episode. We have
They're
we have
important
a
in
similar
every
thing.
universe, regardless of where they are. One of
Yeah.
them is
In the Resistance,
Majorly
and one of
important
them,
Resistance
one of them
member.
is in the Resistance, and one of them caused the problem. So it's always like, it's like they really are the most important people in the entire multiverse. Is what we're getting right now.
except their own universe.
Yeah, where they're kind of just whatever. Yeah, it's a real ego trip for these guys. They're having a great time. So she goes to the Resistance, and it's led by Mullet Quinn,
Who
as we should call
accepts
him now on.
with-
Yeah. So they
without
tell him. You don't get the
hesitancy.
scene where they tell him, but you get the scene afterward where he refers to them as "it's my world" or "my planet," like that,
Not
as
your
if
world, all this.
acknowledging that their story is true. And he just sort of goes, "What does he say?"
Well, I think Arturo says, "Oh, you're very accepting of this."
Hmm.
Most people wouldn't. His line is something. Well, if you're lying, that's around your neck.
Yeah,
You'll carry it until
when-
Judgment Day.
Yeah. I mean, cool. I mean, that's very chill of him. You got to accept that. That's pretty decent. I think what they establish, and it definitely becomes recurring, is that Quinn in general, in every world, is very open-minded about this. He doesn't usually put up too much resistance to the concept of sliding. So
Ironically, because he's in the Resistance.
he is resisting. It turns out the evil government thing that's socially engineering things so that the poor people get sick and the rich people don't. So there's less poor people. I mean, it's pretty sketchy, that bit. I mean, when he explains it, it's like, well, what's the motivation for this? It turns out Quinn was infected intentionally and then released into the population to get everybody ill.
The only thing that might back that up is they had that sale channel that was selling all of the soap.
Yeah, there was a
Yes, I guess,
bundle
yeah,
of
so we had that in the
surgical
motel.
gloves, Metadine soap, like a little
That's a good point. It was a bit. I was kind of trying to work out what the intention was behind that, because it went on for a couple of minutes, that info kind of sales thing. And so is it the idea of that it's big pharma looking to make money out of the epidemic and like the rich people stay rich? But they kind of don't really get into it.
Was one of them the TV lawyer from the previous one? I don't know if he was, but
I don't know.
They sort of hint that he's a recurring guy, or was it just
don't
that?
Think so. Well, we had the best recurring guy, didn't we? So Rembrandt goes to break Quinn out of the medical place. However, Quinn's breaking himself out at the same time, because let's be honest, what could Rembrandt do other than turn up and be an idiot? Because that's literally all Rembrandt does. And he's escaping, but who's helping Rembrandt?
The taxi driver.
From the pilot.
Favourite Russian taxi driver.
And he pays the taxi driver well, polite as always, Rembrandt.
Yeah, does pay him well, but he's kind of a bit of a dick remark about how he's like, the taxi driver's like, oh, it's my destiny to be a taxi driver, and the Rembrandt's like, oh mate, you've no idea, you're gonna be a shitty taxi driver on every world, is kind of the implication to that. Hopefully we'll get a world where the taxi driver's like a billionaire or something, or the president. I really hope he does break out of that role a little bit, and
but he'd still throw them down the road.
He does always betray them. Yeah, it's a good point. He does always betray them.
The doctor lady, I guess you've not mentioned, is helping.
Well, we haven't mentioned her.
Because it's very rushed.
Because it's super rushed and super non-consequential. Because it's just like... So there's a lady doctor who's clearly got the hot in that helps him after examining him, and then helps him break out, and then dies. And then at some point, Quinn steals her jewellery and gives it to the other Quinn, who's like, oh, we were
No, he doesn't even give it to Quinn.
No, he gives it to Rembrandt.
To give it to other Quinn.
To the other Quinn, who's like, oh, we were lovers, which is the most 90s way of describing that. They were monk buddies.
We were med students.
And then
lovers.
it's really like poignant moment, but it did feel super rushed, that relationship. It's like it felt like the infomercial thing.
Yeah.
It felt like there was bigger plans for plot elements around those, but they cut for time or cut for budget or something.
Maybe hinting to further episodes. Maybe it will be carried on in further episodes. At least I thought it might be.
Nah.
One of the bits when
I doubt it.
Quinn's trying to prove to them that he's not this Quinn. It's like, I tore my knee playing football. It's like, so did this one. Bad knees follow me everywhere.
So let's get to the best bit. So we've discovered that the main problem with this universe, the main difference, is that they never discovered penicillin. So Arturo is back at the kind of the resistance base, pouring the bin out, and this is a physicist making penicillin. Somehow he just knows how to do it. First attempt. And he's basically boiling rubbish, from what I can tell.
Boil some rubbish.
Was it like mouldy bread?
There's a bit where the best bit is a bit where the rubbish has been sorted into lots of little dishes, right? I'm guessing by his helper friends. And then he cuts a slice off of each of these bits of like leftover whatever and puts them all into a thing and then just boils it.
So what was the point of
I don't know. I don't know.
When you got a science, he
scienced the shit out of this problem.
He was looking for the good mold.
He did. Well, you know why, don't we? What was the quote? So when it works, I want this quote verbatim. It was amazing.
Biology is what you do when you don't have the math to science. I love it.
And it's like him saying, I'm a physicist, that makes me the best of all science. I don't need to know the other things like chemistry and biology. I just know them because I know the physicist stuff. And I mean, there is a logic to that, because obviously the science of physics is the science at the base of all fucking reality. So I guess there is some kind of explanation there. But I mean, he just completely fucking
he mentions the science behind it about cultured growths, in the dish, but then he just boils it all.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then when he drinks it, it's like, there's 3 possible outcomes. It might do nothing, it might cure me, or it might kill me. And it's just like, oh, well, I'm glad he tried it on himself. I like the ethics of that.
He mixes it with a bit of sugar
to make the taste go down. Mary Poppins taught him that one. Bottoms up, and magic cure, woo! He does alright. He doesn't die.
In the morning, when they've got 12 minutes to spare before they get out, it's proven it all works, so it's good.
And then we rush really quickly to the end of the episode. Like it feels like the episode starts quite sedately, doesn't it? And it moves into the plot and gets you into the world. And then, whoa, let's get through the third act at 100 miles an hour.
A very Jesus moment when when the CHC van literally busts through the resistance.
Yeah, very Division-esque. They all bust in with big guns, ready to shoot down.
I've given the cure to all the other Red Eyes.
Yeah, you can kill me, but it doesn't matter. I've spread the knowledge, man. It's super egalitarian of me. Yeah, communism once again is better than...
poorly disciples, group around him to protect him.
They should have all been sipping the cure, what are you going to do? Yeah, it tastes great. Oh, God, it's rubbish. It tastes like shit. Because it would taste like shit. I'm just saying.
Boiled up, mouldy food.
It's not
no amount of sugar is going to make that taste any good.
The science here is... I don't know a great deal about culturing mould to get penicillin from it, but at no point did we actually see him culture any mould. I don't understand. He cooked rubbish. He just cooked rubbish. I mean,
that's all we need to do. Just cut it up, put it in a bowl.
Next time I have flu, gonna try that.
That's what you do when you don't have the maths for physics.
You just fucking physics that shit.
You just boil that rubbish.
It's so bizarre, and it's so there's a cure, and then obviously brilliant timing as always. They get the portal open, they go slide through. So they've saved this universe. They've given them penicillin and antibiotics, and they're gonna cure them from the Q, and everybody's happy, and they slide through, and Wade's getting better, and Arturo's already miraculously healed, and then they go through. They would get to the epilogue slide. Where do we end up? Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, it's basically.
I would want to see that episode.
Yeah, like Congo sort of cannibal holocaust.
It's so brilliantly done because you don't see anything. You just get some drums.
It's implied with.
You get spray on sweat.
Open shirts from the men.
Dirty open shirt.
Oh, Arturo's wearing those weird things that only British people at the seaside in the 1930s wear on their heads.
Yeah,
doilies twisted up on the hat.
Handkerchief tied around.
Yeah, what is that? What is the point? What does that do?
He's got a little spear. He's got a little stick.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, don't tell her about the fucking cannibals.
The closest we get is they go outside the tent, but we only see...
Yeah, and they shoot back in. So you don't see anything.
Who will they eat first?
The one thing we missed when they first arrived, though, is Wade has the love vision. Because she's been having all the visions when she's ill.
She's been tripping hard, man.
Really hard.
They really went for that hallucinogen aspect, to be honest.
Quinn.
Yeah, we get that really blank-faced Quinn, I love you. You're the woman of my dreams. I would always try and save
Quinn.
you.
Yeah.
The woman I love more than life itself.
And then once again, her love gets spurned hard by Quinn because he comes to see her in the tent in Cannibal Holocaust World, and he comes in and she's like, "Oh, you look so happy," thinking it's because she's okay, and he's like, "No, it's because if anything, I know sliding made a difference. I saved the whole universe. I saved the whole universe by being there because of my amazing invention, and that's why I'm happy because my ego feels really good right now."
Arturo was the one that boiled up that rubbish.
Quinn did piss all. He had a weird brief love thing that didn't go anywhere.
Owns her straight again.
Yeah, and she's just like, "Oh, good. Oh," she looks like.
She probably wishes she was tripping
the
loving Q.
Yeah, the loving
Quinn even.
Well, Q, Quinn, however you like it, however you want it. So that brings us to the end of Fever. Any final bits you wanted to bring up, guys? Anything? General feelings on the episode,
I found this one very meh.
I actually quite liked it.
Okay.
I like those kind of things. Kind of like a. Well, I think I said War of the Worlds, but sliders with that.
And that's
very vague.
war.
It's disease, but a lot less.
Yeah,
the concept itself is interesting.
I really like it when Sliders does the let's blow out kind of a small difference and then take it to the nth degree of where that would end up. And the whole idea, because of course penicillin was discovered completely by accident, and it's like the idea of, well, what if that accident hadn't happened? And I think that's a really interesting concept. And I like it when the Sliders episodes are a little bit less action focused and it's more of a think piece and more of thinking their way out of it, even when the science involved is complete shit, it's still quite entertaining to see. So I quite enjoyed it. I can see why you'd be a bit met on it though. It's not a thrilling one. It's they have way crazier ideas like down the line. So there's lots to look forward to. I can promise you that, Nathan.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff.
I thought it's a pretty cool episode. It's a pretty good episode.
It's solid. Like, I don't hate it. It's just very like in the middle.
One bit I did think was a bit odd. I think when Wade's hallucinating all the yellow-faced disease people, it briefly cuts to Boris Karloff, but overlaid yellow.
Yeah, with red eyes.
That was
really
weird. It came up more than once because I think you caught it first, and he was like, and you guys like, and then they did it again. It's like, no, definitely Boris Karloff. Yeah.
Why is that?
Maybe they're just a fan. Maybe there was like a fan who made the show. The director maybe loved Boris Karloff stuff.
You think that's weird? I thought it was weird that they had a bulletproof taxi.
Yes, all the bullets.
So yeah, the CHC are firing upon Quinn, who's escaping from the facility with Rembrandt and the Russian taxi driver, and as they're firing on the taxi, just the bullets are just bouncing off. Like what?
Well, then let's remember these.
Astounding.
But you've got to remember that these are the special bullets that can kill a woman without creating any blood.
Oh, there was blood.
There was blood.
Well, he had a nosebleed.
A drop, but none on her
nosebleed.
white.
She's wearing a full white
disease
swab
control suit,
and there's like nothing red. I mean, but then again, this is tea time television, so you have to forgive it. You have to forgive that. But I don't want. Do we want to do ratings? Do you guys want to rate these out of something? We haven't really discussed this, but
I mean, there was no gate in it, so it's
So it's a
as
zero.
much as it was, it's a zero in my
Zero
opinion.
gate watch. Zero. For
It's a
gate
zero
watch.
on the gate watch rating.
Okay, we'll do that. Zero gate watch.
I want to give it a 5 out of 5 on the doors rating.
Yeah, on the.
I like that. I like that a lot. So that was episode 2 of Circling the Vortex. We will be back in a couple of weeks with episode 3, which is going to focus on episode 4. That's confusing. I haven't looked up the title of that yet.
That's so confusing.
Yeah, it is a little bit confusing. But thank you very much for joining me, Nathan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining me, Curtis.
Thank you very much.
And please head over to experiencekills.co.uk, which will take you to our YouTube channel to like, to subscribe, and we're also now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check out the audio on iTunes where you can subscribe to it as well. We also have a raw RSS feed, so you can subscribe directly to that, and we'll be turning up in all of the podcast places you can go and get it from very, very soon. I also want to give a quick shout out to the Sliders subreddit. Thank you very much for listening and enjoying this podcast. We have much more to come. So we'll speak to you soon. I've been your host, Ben, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks.
What if
Bye-bye.
you could travel to parallel worlds? The same year, the same Earth, only different dimensions. A world where the Russians rule America. Or where your dreams of being superstar came true. Or where San Francisco was a maximum security prison. My friends and I found the gateway. Now the problem is finding a way back home.